Hi everybody, and welcome to the Book Refuge, and welcome to another book haul. This one, I just always have a book haul coming soon. That's how things go for me. This one will be fun today though, because I actually have some new releases in this stack. So the way this is gonna go is I have a stack of new releases. I have a stack of self-pub books that I've already read and then bought physical copies of. That's something that I do when I need to own a physical copy, because even if something's on my Kindle, sometimes I just need to have it in my hand so that I can mark it all up and put stickies on it and just love myself with it. Then I have a stack of contemporary romances and a stack of historical romances. So let's go. Let's get started off with the new releases. So one of these I've already started and talked about in a few vlogs, so I'll share that, and that is Aurora Burning by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This is the sequel to Aurora Rising. Yep. This is a young adult sci-fi series. It has been so much fun so far. It is not anything like super deep or life-changing, but if you really like the Illuminae files, I find this one along the same lines, but with a little more fantasy mixed into the sci-fi. Like, there are different races of aliens and people, and it isn't just about humans in space, which is what Illuminae is, definitely full science fiction. This one has more fantasy elements into it. After a super dramatic ending to the last book, this one picks off pretty much right where it ended. Our team is in kind of dire straits right now, and things are happening and it's hard. I'm 160 pages into this, and it's giving me anxiety, but I love it so much. I just enjoy their snarky writing. I enjoy a found family. I enjoy a team, and this series has all of those things, and I love it so much. Another one that is a sequel is Hunting November. This is the sequel to Killing November, which came out last year. I actually read an ARC for that book. I tried so hard to get an ARC for this one, but because my ARCs have been taking me a long time to read, it's probably okay that I didn't get to it, so that, I didn't waste their time. But this is actually about an assassin. It's not quite an assassin school. It's a school where these elite families send their kids. And they're not just elite families, they're kind of like mafia families, but like secret mafia. And this girl finds out that she is a part of one of those families, but didn't know. She thought she was just going to an elite boarding school. And then she finds out she's in this school for training like these secret leaders of the world that people, like, they don't know about these families. And some crazy stuff goes down there. She makes some friends, she makes some enemies, and now she's kind of on the run, which is why it's called Hunting November. So this girl is super badass. This is a very smart series, in my opinion. There is a mystery and a lot of danger involved, but it was also kind of fun at the same time because we're learning, and that's why I called it assassin, even though it's not really that, but like their classes are almost like you'd be training for the Hunger Games or something. Like, there is a poisons class, there is a diplomacy class, so those like kind of elite kind of skills, and I'm super excited to continue it. There was a pretty big cliffhanger from the last one, and I really liked November. November's the name of the girl, and yeah, it was pretty fun. Then I have the new Kira Cass novel, The Betrothed. I didn't read the Selection series. I'm one of the few people that I never did give in to that series. Maybe someday I will, but this one, I just thought it was so beautiful, and it's a historical romance, but also I think there's going to be some other drama involved. There's this beautiful girl who she ends up becoming the king's betrothed, but she's falling in love with somebody else, and that could be very dangerous for her. So I got it because I love historical romance, and also it is effing beautiful, so I couldn't stop myself. Like, it is so gorgeous that I had to. If it's wrong, I don't want to be right. Then I picked up Forged in Fire and Stars by Andrea Robertson. This was a cover buy as well, pretty much. I haven't read the Nightshade series that Andrea wrote, but this one is about a girl named Ara who is a loresmith. And so they're a blacksmith who serves the kings and queens of her land. And she believes that after the monarchy falls that there won't be a need for her skill anymore. But then the prince and princess of the murdered king and queen ask her to help them out. So I thought it was cool. It's a female blacksmith. It's fantasy and it sounds super, super exciting. You'll see I have a thing for books with like swords and axes and like fantasies of that kind of look on the front. And so I picked it up and we'll see when I get to it. And then the last new release that I picked up is House of Dragons by Jessica Cluess. See what I mean? Look at the beautiful swords on top. It's so pretty. They're swords with dragons, and I just have to give it a go. So Jessica Cluess wrote a Shadow, Bright, and Burning series, which I read the first two. I wasn't a huge fan, but I am definitely willing to give her a second chance. And this one, it has 5 houses competing for something, and I'm always in for like magical competition. And this one says 5 houses will hear the call to compete for the dragon throne. A liar, a soldier, a servant, a thief, and a murderer will answer it. Who will win? It sounds fun, and it sounds a lot like The Smoke Thieves in a way too, which I really enjoyed that series, which it's not done yet, but I really like that series. So here we go. Now I'll talk about one other chunk of books that I just got because technically one of them involves a new release. So you guys voted for me to read Shatter Me this month, and I just finished it, and I'm gonna be obsessed with it. I know that already. So I picked up all the books in the series. I know I'm missing, which one am I missing? I'm missing Unravel Me, but I already ordered that one too. So when you say, oh, you're missing one, I know. So I can't start these until I get that one. But I loved Shatter Me so much, and I had no idea what I was missing. I didn't know that it so heavily involved romance, and twisted romance at that. And I love a bad boy. I don't know how Warner is going to get redeemed if he does, but I'm hooked. I'm hooked. I'm in. And also it has kind of like superhero vibe. And so I'm going to be trash for this like everyone else. So I bought them all. There we go. Okay, let's talk about self-published books. If you've been following my channel for any amount of time, you know I'm a big proponent for them, especially in the romance genre. I just think that self-publishing is such a good avenue for some books that go a little further or aren't what the normal publishing companies want to put forward. And I also think it helps authors get their books out faster. So most of these books I've all either read their Kindle Unlimited version or purchased an ebook, and I purchased this book. So something you might not know, I don't necessarily buy these to help the authors more. I do want to help the authors, that's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying that authors generally make more off of the ebook unless they have it on Kindle Unlimited than they do off of this, because a certain amount of money just straight up has to go into printing the book itself, and there's only so much that others can make. But when I really like a book, I want to own a copy of it so that I can hold it up in videos, so that I can borrow it to my friends who don't have ebooks, so that I can, like I said, mark it up, write in it, put sticky notes in it, because that's just how I love books. So let's go ahead and get into this. I have a pretty good stack here today, and I'm very excited. Most of these books I've talked about many, many times, so I don't have to go into it too long, but I picked up Unbreakable by Melanie Harlow. This is the 4th book in the Cloverleaf series. This series, each one is about a sister. There's pretty much every trope somewhere in the series. There's an age gap, there's a friends to lovers, there's an enemy to lovers, there's a second chance romance, and there's 2 second chance romances. There's one that is, it's second chance in life for both of them, and then there's one where the couple actually gets a second chance. And her newest book, Unforgettable, just came out, and that one, it was so good. I picked up Red Rider by Kate Avery Ellison. I am so happy she made print copies of these available. Only the first one is out in print so far, but the 3 of the books in the series are out so far. I think there's going to be 6. which is frustrating, but each one always just addicts me so much. This is kind of like a dystopian fantasy series. There are werewolves in it. It is also a little bit handmade-y, and yeah, it's about this girl named Red Rider, and girls with certain DNA are able to mate with the sworn and give them children. It's actually the only way they can have children because they're sterile themselves. And this is like, it's a horrible thing. They're not treated well. But the series is so good. So the first one's Red Rider, and then it is Silver Wolf, and then it's Black Veil, and then there's 3 more still to come. But all of these ones are on Kindle Unlimited, so you definitely can get a hold of those. But the copies of the ebook is actually prettier, but this is still beautiful, and I'm really excited to have the whole series because I talk about it all the time. Then I have a duology. Well, it's not a duology. There's 2 books out so far. There's also going to be 6 in this series. This is an epic fantasy series. The first 2 books are out. You may have seen a few other booktubers reading it recently. It is a romantic fantasy, heavy on the romance. It's a dark romance. There is so much in these. So this is the Sworn, or the Fortuna Sworn, KJ Sutton. This is her self-published series. She also publishes under Kelsey Sutton some YA books. This is definitely not YA. I would call it new adult, probably, because the main character, I think she is like 19. This involves an arranged marriage with the king of the Unseelie court. It involves a brother who was kidnapped and taken to said court, and Fortuna is going to fight to get him back. Then there is Restless Slumber, which is the second book in the series, which has probably one of the most beautiful self-published covers I have ever seen. It is so gorgeous, it hurts me to look at. I am dying for more in this series. I got to read an arc of this when I was in Columbia, and then I purchased the second one, and I just want more. I want it right now. It is so dark and sexy. There are some trigger warnings for this. Make sure you look them up. But I love it. I want everyone to read it. This could be, like this, if you love Sarah J. Maas, you want this. You want this. You want it in your life. It's amazing. Another self-published, this is The Shrike and the Shadows by Chantal Coudry and A.M. Wright. This is the first in the Witch of Crum series, and this is a Hansel and Gretel retelling. There is this creature called the Shrike who steals men's souls and then like takes their heart out. And this happened to Hansel and Gretel. I think they go by Hans and Greta, and they're kind of an outcast because Greta is seen as a witch. And her brother Hans is really popular like with the women in town. And so a lot of people like hate her because they think that she has some spell over her brother, when really her brother just really cares about her and isn't going to abandon her to get married to someone who wouldn't also love his sister. But there's also a creepy priest in town who has his eyes on Greta, and there's this Shrike who keeps stealing men and killing them, and this is also really dark. I will call this one is categorized as new adult as well. This is the first in a series, and it was very good. There's also some trigger warnings for this one. And the cover, it's like it's supposed to look like hand stitched. It's so pretty. And then I have Pucked and Forever Pucked. This is book 1 and 4 in the series, but they also go like together because this one's a direct sequel to this one. This is about Alex Waters and Violet, and I love them. I've talked about them a ton in other ones. This is a hilarious hockey comedy series. It's super sexy. It's so good. It's so good. I've talked on and on about this series, so I won't continue. Okay. All right, let's talk about the historical romances I got. I got all of these, all the rest of the books I'm actually going to show you, I got from from Book Outlet. Every once in a while, I just look up romance on there and I order like all of them that they have. So these ones are the historicals that I got from there. And a lot of times these were like $2 or $3. And some of them are like super random ones I like haven't even heard about, but they're historical romance and I want to read them, so I buy them. So I got The Scandal of It All by Sophie Jordan. This is part of the Rogue Files. I won't tell you what like all these are about because we'll get movie. I got a Johanna Lindsay, which was awesome. I'm trying to get a few of her books. These are all like the rebranded ones, obviously. We've obviously lost Johanna Lindsay this year. And yeah, this was originally from 1992 and it got a new cover. This one's called Man of My Dreams. I got A Match Made in Bed by Kathy Maxwell, which I actually have the other one in here too, If Ever I Should Love You. So slowly collecting these ladies. I got The Spy Master's Lady by Joanna Burke. Ooh. I got Francesca by Beatrice Small. Very excited about this one, these two. This one is The Highlander's Promise by Lindsay Sands. I'm excited to read some of her Scottish books. And then I got Karen Rainey, To Love a Duchess. I love when I find like the hardcover ones on there, because usually, number one, the hardcover romance novels are normally $30. And number two, they don't like really have them at Barnes & Noble anyway, even if I wanted to spend that on them. So when I can find them for like $3, I get a little bit like, get a little hot and bothered. Then I have 3 more Helena Huntings to show just real fast. I've actually already read Shacking Up, but these are 3 books from, I don't know if it's called the Shacking Up series or whatever it's called, but I got Shacking Up, I Flip and Love You, and Handle with Care. I have the other 2 in the series coming, but they're taking their sweet time to get here. These ones are by St. Martin's Press. So these are mass market ones that you can actually find somewhere if you want to. And these are my contemporary books. I got First Star I See Tonight by Susan Elizabeth Phillips. I believe this one is a Chicago Star. I think that it's a hockey team, but I'm not sure. But this is a sports romance. I got More Than Words and Most of All You by Mia Sheridan. I haven't read any Mia Sheridan. I know that she did Archer's Voice, which a bunch of people tell me to read. Maybe I will if I like these. These are only like $1 each, so I had to get those. Only by Helen K. Diamond. I got 99% Mine by Sally Thorne and The Hating Game by Sally Thorne, which I actually haven't read either of these, and I think they could be really fun. I got Fight or Flight by Samantha Young. I know this one has a Scottish person in it too, which is exciting to me. I got Slammed by Victoria Denault. Intercepted by Kylie Scott. And then, I guess those were all the contemporary moments. I picked up Consume by J.R. Ward. I've been wanting to check this one out. I think this is a firefighter story. It's also a standalone by her, which she doesn't have many of those. And then I got Beyond a Darkened Shore by Jessica Leek, which is a young adult fantasy, a Viking one, I think. So yeah, that is everything I got in this haul. Whew. I'm always out of breath when I finish this. So yeah, tell me which one of these you're excited for. Make sure you check out Book Outlet if you've never heard of it. That was something that was a revelation to me when I started Booktube, because yeah, and it ships from Canada, so it can take a little bit of time to get here, but I have found such good deals on there, especially like my historical romances. I found so many of those from on there, from like authors I haven't heard of before, because I just went through and there was all these historical romances for $2 to $3, and so I just filled out my cart and did it. So thank you so much for watching this. I put out new videos 3 to 4 times a week, and you can watch some more of them right now.